Coming up tonight on SLU News 22.
Hurricane Patricia hits Mexico.
SLU's groundbreaking ceremony.
Victory for the Rams.
Snooping iPhone apps.
Plus, national news and weather. Live from the Busch Student Center, this is SLU News 22.
Thank you for joining us this evening. After nearly 10 years of holding a plurality in Canadian Parliament, Conservative Party Prime Minister Stephen Harper has lost an election. Liberal Party leader Justin Trudeau will take office sometime in the near future as Prime Minister of Canada. In the 2011 general election, the Liberal Party held only 34 seats in Parliament as opposed to 269 seats held between the Conservative Party and the New Democrat Party. Trudeau is the son of former Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. Trudeau ran on a platform to provide more support to infrastructure and for the middle class.
With sustained winds reaching as high as 165 miles per hour, Hurricane Patricia struck the Pacific coast of Mexico this past Saturday. Experts believe that Hurricane Patricia was the most powerful hurricane to ever hit the resort region. Strong wind gusts destroyed power lines. However, the hurricane quickly hit the mountains near the region and quickly dissipated, limiting damage in populated areas. Floods and mudslides still presented to people in the area, but advanced evacuation limited deaths and damage to structures. Yet the remnants of Hurricane Patricia are still causing damage. The tropical depression traveling northeast from Mexico merged with another storm system to bring up to a foot of rain in Texas and northern Mexico. No deaths have been reported, but Dallas-Fort Worth Airport was closed on Saturday due to the heavy rains.
Chief Meteorologist Emily Borah is in our Weather Center with her first forecast as part of the SLU-TV weather team. So what are we looking at this week, Emily?
Well, right now we've got highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s all around the region with some partly cloudy skies. Right now in St. Louis we're sitting at 68. Tonight we're going to get down to 53 with cloudy skies as rain moves in from that Hurricane Patricia and winds out of the east from 5 to 10 miles an hour. Later this week we could get some rain as well as a high pressure system that's going to be bringing cooler temperatures and clearer skies. But then on Saturday we are going to possibly see some rain early in the morning. That'll be in my later forecast. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Emily.
Over 146 people have been killed following an earthquake earlier today in Jarm, Afghanistan. The quake was felt as far away from as India and Kyrgyzstan. The area around Jarm is rural and mountainous, making it difficult for responders to reach the areas. Structures in the region are also not prepared for an earthquake, making the situation more dangerous. The hypocenter was buried deep beneath the Earth's surface, giving disaster response agencies hope that the damage will not be as severe had the quake been closer to the surface. Due to the inaccessibility of some communities in the mountain, it will be difficult to get an accurate estimate of the damage.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu defended his controversial plan to install video surveillance around the culturally plural city of Jerusalem. Tensions between Israelis and Palestinians in the region have often erupted in violence. Prime Minister Netanyahu claims that the new surveillance plan will reduce incidents of violence surrounding culturally important sites, while Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki claims that Israeli officials will use the technology to unfairly profile and arrest Palestinians. The close proximity of several important Jewish and Islamic cultural sites has increased tensions between the two groups. Palestinians and Israelis have not met to discuss the tensions since the 2014 meeting with U.S. Secretary John Kerry that found little success.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel has again taken a strong stance for European Union states to take more refugees from North Africa and the Middle East. The EU agreed last month to take in hundreds of thousands of refugees over the next 2 years, but now Merkel wants the EU to take in more refugees across Europe to alleviate the burden on states with higher refugee populations, such as Turkey. The plans are still in the beginning stages, but some EU states have already expressed opposition.
After over a decade of controversy over the 2003 invasion of Iraq, former British Prime Minister and supporter of the war, Tony Blair, claimed the invasion played a part in the rise of ISIS in the region. After the dissolution of Saddam Hussein's government following the capture, Blair admitted that a power vacuum occurred that militant groups such as Al-Qaeda and ISIS exploited. Although ISIS formed in Syria during the civil war that continues across the country, countries invaded the invasion of Iraq remained neutral during the Syrian civil war. Blair says the co-location forces of the EU and the US tried several strategies during and after the invasion across the Middle East and North Africa, but he is unsure whether any of them successfully improved the situation.
A Canadian whale-watching boat sunk on Sunday, causing 5 deaths. The boat carrying 27 passengers sank off Vancouver Island near the tourist area of Tofina around 5 p.m., authorities say. The cause of the capsizing is still unknown, but is under investigation. 3 Coast Guard vessels, along with many locally owned boats, helped rescue the passengers. However, 1 passenger is still missing. Authorities have not released the identities of the victims or the missing person. Jamie Bray, owner of the whale-watching vessel, made a statement saying, quote, "Our entire team is heartbroken over the incident, and our hearts go out to the families, friends, and loved ones of everyone involved," end quote.
Saturday night, presidential candidate Bernie Sanders used his speech to the Iowa Jefferson-Jackson dinner to make his sharpest and most aggressive critiques of Hillary Clinton, the Democratic frontrunner. Thus far, the dinner is considered the marquee event of the Democratic presidential campaign circuit, attracting more than 6,600 party activists this year in Iowa that holds the nation's first nominating contest. Without mentioning Clinton by name, Sanders fired off a series of back-to-back jabs, clearly aimed at the weakest parts of her resume, and portrayed himself as the true progressive in the race who, quote, "will govern based on principle, not poll numbers." Coming up next, your SLU area news. Stay tuned.
We are all.
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 We are all. We are all.
We are all.
Billikens.
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 We are all.
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 We are all. We are all.
We are all.
Billikens.
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 We are all.
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 We are all. We are all.
We are all.
Billikens.
Billikens. Billikens.
Billikens.
Billikens.
Billikens.
Welcome back. The first graduates of SLU's Associate Degree Prison Program completed their studies last week. The program offers degrees for those incarcerated and those who work for the Missouri Department of Corrections. The program is the first that offers degrees to both on-site correctional facilities. The graduates will receive their degrees at mid-year commencement on December 11th.
Wednesday, October 28th, the Great Issues Committee presents Bill Nye the Science Guy. Doors to the event open at 6:40 p.m. and a meet and greet will follow the event. Don't miss the chance to see everyone's favorite scientist.
SLU will break ground on its second residence hall on Monday, November 2nd at 3:30 p.m. on the corner of Grand Boulevard and Laclede Avenue. The new building will feature 528 beds, a dining hall, and is scheduled to be completed in time for the 2017-2018 school year.
For the first time in over a decade, St. Louis Public Schools has qualified for full accreditation status based on guidelines set by the Missouri Department of Education. The district earned 106.5 points in the state's assessment system, comfortably above the 98 required to become accredited. This marks the first year since 2000 that SLPS has been classified as fully accredited by the state. District Superintendent Dr. Kevin Adams stated that although the district is making steady progress, significant work still needs to be done to continue to improve.
Another St. Louis church has been burned in what is believed to be a deliberate attack. The seventh church that has fallen victim to arson since October 8th. The fire occurred at the Shrine of St. Joseph on North 11th Street, a church known for being the site of a Vatican-certified miracle in 1864. A $9,000 reward has been put in place for anyone with information leading to the apprehension of the perpetrator of these fires. Those with information should call Crime Stoppers at 314-725-8477. Coming up next, Emily has your work week forecast. Stay tuned.
We are all.
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 We are all. We are all.
We are all.
Billikens.
Billikens. Billikens.
Billikens.
Billikens.
Billikens.
Welcome back. Emily Borah is here with us. This is her first time doing the weather as part of the SLU-TV weather crew. So Emily, it looks like we've got some rain coming towards us.
Yeah, we'll get some rain throughout the night and into Tuesday morning, and then we'll be clear until Saturday morning, Halloween.
Wow, that'll be nice that it moves out just in time.
Yeah, it'll be real nice. Pretty good temperatures for Halloween, and we'll be able to set our clocks back as well that night. Right now in St. Louis, though, we are sitting at 68 with partly cloudy skies. Tonight we could get down to 53, though, so that could be chilly. Out here we have a high pressure system not really affecting us all that much, but once we look at the national radar, we see that we do have two low pressure systems, both bringing in clouds and a little bit of rain. Tonight we'll get down to 50 with increasing clouds. As I said, that rain's going to be coming in. We are going to have winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into Tuesday, we could get up to 63 with winds at 10 to 12 miles per hour, so pretty windy out there. Showers are very likely tomorrow as well. For our 5-day forecast, you can see Tuesday we do have that rain, but then the rest of the week is pretty nice up until Saturday morning, where we're going to get some more rain, but Saturday night should be looking pretty good, as long as we remember to set our clocks back and have a good Halloween. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Emily. Up next, a look into the world of sports and entertainment.
We are all.
We are all.
We are all. We are all.
We are all.
We are all.
We are all. We are all.
We are all.
Billikens.
Billikens.
Billikens. Billikens. Billikens. Billikens.
We are all.
We are all.
We are all. We are all.
We are all.
We are all.
We are all. We are all.
We are all.
Billikens.
Billikens.
Billikens. Billikens. Billikens. Billikens.
Welcome back. The Weeknd tops the charts with The Hills at number 1. Although Drake's Hotline Bling video finally dropped last week, creating many topics of conversation, it still remained at the number 2 slot. Also making the top 5 slots are Justin Bieber's What Do You Mean, Fetty Wap's 679, and Shawn Mendes's Stitches.
This weekend's biggest winners were The Martian and Goosebumps. The Martian holds strong at the number 1 slot for the 4th weekend in a row at $15.9 million. Goosebumps, a reimagining of classic book series, is at number 2, grossing $15.5 million. This weekend's disappointment was Steve Jobs only grossing $7.3 million and making it to the number 7 slot.
Maureen O'Hara passed away at the age of 95 over the past weekend. O'Hara was a classic movie actress who starred in Miracle on 34th Street, The Parent Trap, and How Green Was My Valley, an Oscar-winning film. She passed peacefully surrounded by her loving family. Many celebrities paid tribute to the late star over the weekend.
Apple has banned hundreds of iPhone apps that secretly collected personal information from anyone who downloaded them. Most of the 256 apps were made in China, but were available worldwide. The app's creators used a software development kit from the advertising company Yumi. Yumi allowed developers to put ads in their apps, but Yumi's software also gathered information from people who downloaded the apps. The data collection was not on the fault of the developers, but on Yumi because they were disguising the fact that its software was sending data to its servers.
The beer market will see a new dominant player in the global market. Anheuser-Busch InBev, the owner of Budweiser, is said to expand its stable of brands after reaching an agreement to buy SAB Miller, owner of Miller Lite. After the weekend, AB InBev said SAB Miller has agreed to a $67 share takeover. This means the value of the London-based brewer at $106 billion. This will be the biggest beer acquisition and one of the largest in history.
The Rams beat the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, 24-6. The Rams scored first off of a defensive touchdown. Jenkins punched the ball out from Browns wide receiver Taylor Gabriel, and McLeod picked it up to run it into the end zone. The Rams in the third quarter led 10-6 and increased their lead as they took advantage of the Browns, having to punt. Gurley ran the ball into the end zone, making it 17-6 with the extra point. In the fourth quarter, Todd Gurley scored his second career NFL touchdown. The Rams are now 3-3, holding second place in the NFC West. Going into Week 8, the Rams prepare to play the 49ers at home.
The Blues started regular season play this past month on October 8th. They're now 8 games in and have a 5-3 record. The Blues are generating a lot of offense at the beginning of the season by scoring 23 goals in just 8 games. Vladimir Tarasenko leads the Blues in goals scored and total points with 5 goals and 9 points. On Saturday night, the Blues hosted the New York Islanders only to lose in overtime, 2-3. The Blues will play their next 4 games at home.
Billikens men's soccer has now won 3 Atlantic 10 conference games in a row. They beat Virginia Commonwealth on Thursday 2-0 at Hermann Stadium. Freshman Leonard Hine recorded his first goal of his career in the 39th minute. Then in the 53rd minute, captain Tyler David scored off of a penalty kick. On Saturday, the Billikens matched up against Davidson at home. The first half ended 0-0, but early in the second half, in the 53rd minute, Fik Hadjirovic served the ball into the box for Filip Pavicic to flick on to the top corner of the goal. The Billikens are now 3-1-2 in Atlantic 10 play.
Billikens field hockey made history this weekend when they beat Lock Haven. It was the first women's Atlantic 10 win in program history. At halftime, the Billikens were down by 1, but came out strong, and sophomore Carly Wolfs scored in the 3rd minute of the second half. With the score tied, the Billikens continued to play until freshman Molly Feed scored to put the Billikens on top. Feed has now been named as the Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Week. All right, so we've got that hurricane has moved through Mexico, and we're looking at rain for the next couple of days from it.
Yeah, we sure are. Been kind of a clear warm-up and then more rain.
So you said, though, it should be out by trick-or-treating time on Saturday?
Yep, trick-or-treat time should be fairly nice. Kind of cooler temperatures, but still no rain.
Good deal. Well, that's our show for tonight. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, you can always get the latest movie reviews and news online at slutv.slu.edu or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We'll be back here next week at 6 p.m.